Chiefs Kingdom, we need to talk about this. Travis Kelce might actually be considering retirement. Yeah, you heard that right. One of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game is at a crossroads. If he walks away, it won't just be the end of an era, it could change the entire future of the Kansas City Chiefs. So, what's going on? In a recent episode of his podcast, New Heights, Kelce opened up about his future in the NFL. His words weren't exactly reassuring. He admitted that he's been out kicking the can down the road and hasn't made any major decisions yet. But here's the part that really stood out. He talked about how tough this past season was, how the grind is starting to wear on him, and how missing key moments on the field is hitting harder than ever. And let's be real, it makes sense. Kelce isn't just playing football, he's playing extra football. The Chiefs' constant deep playoff runs mean he's played more games than almost anyone else in the league over the last several years. That's a lot of extra hits, extra practices, and extra pressure. At 35 years old, after 13 grueling NFL seasons, the toll on his body is undeniable. There's also the emotional aspect. He's been dominant for so long, but over the past couple of seasons, his numbers have dipped slightly. That's not to say he's not still elite. He absolutely is. But for a player like Kelce, not being at his absolute best can be frustrating. So what do you think? Should Kelce push for one more year, or is it time for him to step away on top? Drop your take in the comments. I want to hear what you would do if you were in his shoes. And here's the big question. If Kelce retires, what does that mean for the Chiefs financially? Because trust me, this decision isn't just emotional. It's also about the money. Let's break that down next.
Kelce had this to say.
I know everybody wants to know whether or not I'm playing next year, and right now I'm just kicking everything down the road. I'm kicking every can I can down the road, and I'm not making any crazy decisions, but right now the biggest thing is just being there for my teammates and being there for my coaches, understanding, that there's a lot that goes into this thing. I've been fortunate over the past 5-6 years. I've played more football than anybody.
Yeah.
And it's because of the people that are in that building, and the fact that we keep going to these AFC championships and these Super Bowls, and that means I'm playing an extra 3 games more than everybody else in the entire league, and that's a lot of wear and tear on your body, and it's a lot of time spent in the building, focusing on your crafts, focusing on the task at hand, every challenge that you set up for yourself, and it's that process can be grueling. It can weigh on you. It can make you better, and it can drive you crazy at the same time. And right now, it's one of those things where it was kind of driving me crazy this year. And I think that it happens as you kind of tail off towards the back nine of your career, as the SVP would say. Is it's as you see yourself or not feel yourself have the success that you once used to have. Man, it's a tough pill to swallow. And then on top of that, to not be there in the biggest moments, knowing your team's counting on you, man. Those are all extremely hard things to it's just a tough reality, and yeah. I think I'm gonna take some time to figure it out, and I think I owe it to my teammates that if I do come back, that it's gonna be something that it's a wholehearted decision. I'm not half-assing it, and I'm fully here for them, and I think I could play. It's just whether or not I'm motivated or it's the best decision for me as a man, as a human, as a person to take on all that responsibility.
Now, Kelce just finished his first year of a 2-year contract with the Chiefs. If he comes back, he will carry a $19.8 million cap hit for the 2025 season. Next season would be the 35-year-old's 13th year playing in the NFL. Nick Shook with the NFL.com writes, he's put in an incredible run of production, earning 4 first-team All-Pro selections, 10 Pro Bowl nods, 3 Super Bowl victories, and a place on the Pro Football Hall of Fame's All-Decade team for the 2000.
If Travis Kelce decides to retire, it won't just leave a hole on the field. It'll also have a major impact on the Chiefs' salary cap. Let's talk numbers. Right now, Kelce still has 1 year left on his contract, with a cap hit of $19.8 million for the 2025 season. That's a big chunk of money, but here's where it gets interesting. If he does retire, Kansas City would actually save $17 to $25 million in cap space, with only $2.5 million counting as dead money. For a team that's always tight on cap space, that's a huge relief. The Chiefs could use that money to address other key areas, maybe reinforce the offensive line, extend a key defensive player, or even go after a new weapon for Mahomes. But here's the other side of it. If Kelce stays, his cap hit remains, unless Kansas City renegotiates his contract. And that's not out of the question. The Chiefs have restructured Kelce's deal multiple times before, pushing money into future years to create immediate cap relief. If he wants to play another season but is willing to adjust his deal, it could be a win-win situation, keeping Kelce in KC while giving the front office more flexibility. So now, let me ask you, if Kelce decides to play in 2025, should the Chiefs pay him what he's worth? Or should they renegotiate to free up cap space? Drop your vote in the comments. I'm curious to see what the kingdom thinks. But here's the next big question. If Kelce does step away, who steps up to fill his shoes? Because replacing a future Hall of Famer is not an easy task. Let's take a look at the options. If Travis Kelce retires, the Chiefs will have a massive hole to fill at tight end. Finding his replacement won't be easy, but let's look at the options already on the roster and potential moves the team could make. First up, Noah Gray. He's been Kelce's primary backup and has shown flashes of reliability. Last season, he had 28 catches for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns, stepping up when needed. He knows the system, has chemistry with Mahomes, and could be the natural successor. But let's be honest, Gray isn't Kelce. He's solid, but can he be the guy? Then there's Jody Fortson. He's an athletic mismatch, but injuries have held him back. When healthy, he's made some big-time red zone plays. If he stays on the field, could he be part of the answer? The Chiefs also have Jared Wiley on injured reserve and Peyton Hendershot, a recent addition. Neither has proven much at the NFL level, but with the right development, one of them could surprise. Now let's talk about external options. The NFL draft could be the best place to find Kelce's true successor. Players like Brock Bowers, Georgia, or Jatavion Sanders, Texas, could be interesting targets if Kansas City wants a long-term solution. The Chiefs could also explore free agency, but high-impact tight ends don't come cheap. So what do you think? Can Noah Gray step up, or do the Chiefs need to draft or sign someone new? Drop your take in the comments. And here's something to think about. Kelce retiring wouldn't just impact the tight end room. His departure could trigger even bigger changes to the Chiefs' roster. Let's talk about it. Kelce's potential retirement isn't just about replacing a legendary tight end. It could be the start of a major roster shakeup in Kansas City. The Chiefs have several key players approaching critical contract decisions, and with a limited salary cap, tough choices will have to be made. Let's start with Nick Bolton. The young linebacker has been a tackling machine and a leader on defense. But with his rookie contract nearing its end, he's due for a payday. Will the Chiefs prioritize keeping him, or will they let him walk like they did with other defensive stars in the past? Then there's Trey Smith, a vital part of the offensive line. He's been a steal for Kansas City, but his next contract won't be cheap. Can the Chiefs afford to keep their offensive front intact, or will they have to make sacrifices? On the defensive side, Justin Reed and Charles Omenihu are 2 more names to watch. Reed has been a steady presence at safety, but Kansas City could look for a younger, cheaper option. Omenihu, meanwhile, was a breakout star before his injury. Will the Chiefs invest in him long-term? With limited cap space, Kansas City has 3 main strategies. Extend key players now to lock in talent before their price skyrockets. Let some guys walk and trust the draft to replenish the roster. Look for budget-friendly, free agents to fill gaps without overspending. So, who should the Chiefs prioritize? If you could keep just one of these players, who would it be? Drop their name in the comments. One thing's for sure, Kansas City will have some big decisions ahead. But even with these uncertainties, there's one question that needs to be answered. Are the Chiefs still a dynasty? Let's break it down. Through all the ups and downs, one thing remains undeniable. The Kansas City Chiefs have built something special. But with roster changes, salary cap challenges, and the possible retirement of a franchise legend like Kelce, are the Chiefs still the dominant force in the NFL? Let's look at the numbers. 49 wins in the last 3 seasons, more than any other team in the league. 3 Super Bowl titles in the last 5 years, a level of success only a few teams in history have reached. Patrick Mahomes breaking records at an unprecedented pace. Before even turning 30, he's already surpassed milestones that took legends their entire careers to reach. And here's the biggest reason Kansas City isn't going anywhere: Mahomes and Andy Reid. As long as this duo is leading the team, the Chiefs will always be in the championship conversation. Roster changes happen, but elite quarterbacks and Hall of Fame coaches are what sustain dynasties. Yes, losing Kelce would be a massive shift. Yes, tough financial decisions are coming. But the core of this team is still built to compete for more Super Bowls. Chiefs, Kingdom, we're still living in the golden era of this franchise. So what do you think? Will the Chiefs continue their dominance for years to come? Or are we reaching the end of the dynasty? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Total Chiefs, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's keep this community strong and keep the conversation going. Go Chiefs!